Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about King Arthur 2017, the Mage. So specifically the Mage character in King Arthur 2017, and how that character relates to wizards within Dungeons & Dragons, okay? There are major spoilers for the King Arthur 2017 film in this video. Alright, so I saw this weekend, the King Arthur 2017 film, and now it is Monday. That film has been determined to be an absolute travesty as far as a commercial. It is a commercial failure, okay? Cost $175 million to make. It made $14 million. It's a very, very bad situation for everyone involved, all right? It should absolutely be seen by every Dungeon Master. Every Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition Dungeon Master should see King Arthur 2017. And the reason why is this is a great, great movie with an absolutely fatal flaw. The fatal flaw is the writer. The writing in this movie, it was not respected by anybody in the process. And it's just all over the place. And you can just tell there's like a million exec notes in there. And it's just not cohesive. And it didn't make sense. The movie just didn't make sense. It's beautifully paced. It's beautifully shot. The soundtrack is amazing. The acting is fantastic. Everything in this movie is great except the story and the writing. It's muddled. It's confusing. It's all over. Okay. All right. So with that said, why am I suggesting that all Dungeon Masters go see this film? The Mage. The Mage is the coolest thing in this film. Absolutely awesome. Really, really unique character that is really tremendously awesome in the movie. All right, so let me talk about the Mage. So one, the Mage is a student of Merlin, but she is not Merlin. She is one person, okay? So in the film, King Arthur overthrows Mordred, who has an entire army at his behest, and is a major bad guy, a king, a leader, a warrior, a sorcerer, and a mage himself. Tremendously powerful person. And King Arthur defeats him with a band of warriors and a single mage. But in the movie, this woman who plays this character, the Mage, and that's how she's referred to in the film. That's actually her character name in the film. It's her title and her name. They never really address her by name. She actually is played by Astrid Burgess Frisbee. She's a French actress. She does a great job with the role. And her only power in the film is she has the ability to control animals. That's it. She has one spell. She has the ability to control animals, okay? She uses this to amazing effect in the film, okay? Now, she controls birds, hawks, snakes, horses, and that's pretty much it. And actually, that's it. That's all she does. She controls birds, snakes, horses, and maybe a dog's in there too. No. I think it was just birds, snakes, and horses. That's really all I remember her, her really dealing with in the movie. But it is so powerful the way she uses these. So, one, she can use but just by using animals, she can use birds to create darkness, right? The same spell you would get from darkness in Dungeons & Dragons, you can create with birds. She's able to carry messages back and forth. She's able to see from vantages that she isn't physically at, right? She's able to disrupt riders and throw them off her horses. Also, horses are incredibly strong, dangerous attackers when they're used. A kick from the rear legs of a horse can easily kill a person, right? And they show that in this film. They show that. She uses a hawk who actually she uses snakes to give poisonous bites and to kill people that way. She has this incredibly powerful, 10-foot long snake that is a major part of her arsenal. She uses a massive hawk to transport the snake to different places, right? And then put that snake into position to harm someone that she needs harmed, right? And so she's using one animal to transport another. And with this very limited amount of animals, she's able to do all this stuff with just one spell. You've got to see the way they use magic in the King Arthur movie. It's better than Dungeons & Dragons uses magic. When I saw what they were able to accomplish with one mage and a limited set of animals, I was like, that puts to shame the wizard, the human wizard with a criminal background, Aeson Shardgale, that I am currently playing in Dungeons & Dragons. And I think the reason why is Dungeons & Dragons has a structure where it's like, here's your spell, fireball, you roll up the sphere of flame and you throw it and it does this XDX damage, right? And you're like, well, and it's just so limited, right? So because the game is really afraid to let the player build magic on the fly, there's no system for it in Dungeons & Dragons. There's about 100 spells within the player's handbook, and you can cast those spells, and they can do a lot of different range stuff. And the spells that are picked in the Dungeon Master Guide in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition are carefully chosen so they're not duplicative, and they give a nice range of things that are going to be accomplished with magic, right? But the reality is, I played Dungeons & Dragons Dragonlance Saga Edition, a diceless system that ran with cards, came out from TSR in the late 90s. Game came out in the late 90s, right? And that game had a custom build magic system where you chose how many people is this going to affect, how badly is it going to affect them, what is it going to change, is it an area of effect, right? All these kind of things. Is it me? Is it a couple people? How long will the duration last? And you could build a custom spell, and that's what this was. That's what it looked like in the King Arthur movie. Was here's your control of animals. Now what can you do with that, right? By building these spells on the fly in real time, right? And it was absolutely brilliant. It really inspired me, right? The other issue is it really was inspirational. The film was extremely inspirational for any Dungeons & Dragons, for any dungeon master. If you're a player out there, this is optional. Maybe do a little bit of homework if you want to see some fighting options and some magic options. But for dungeon masters, this is required viewing, right? The other thing that it really inspired me for is the more I've been thinking about Dungeons & Dragons, the more I'm really convinced that Dungeons & Dragons is the absolute king of tabletop role-playing game, and it 100% deserves to be the absolute king of tabletop role-playing games. But we do have the wrong structure, okay? So one, I actually think the entire Wizards of the Coast Dungeons & Dragons print book structure right now is on hold. And they have a real winner with Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and they're trying to hold off and not do too much until the movie comes out. And they should, because the money they make on the books is a pittance compared to what's going to come in from the movie. If the movie is successful, it will mean billions of dollars, and it'll mean a magnification of the Dungeons & Dragons tabletop role-playing game by a factor of 5, 10, or 50. Okay? Right now, we have 2 to 3 million active Dungeons & Dragons players in the U.S. If the movie kicks, you could be looking at 5 million. You could double it. You could go to 5 million. You could go to 20 million. Maybe you could go to 50 or 75 million Dungeons & Dragons players in the U.S. alone, right? So right now, what I'm about to say, they can't put this into effect until after the films. But one of the things that I think they should shift to immediately with Dungeons & Dragons structure, and it really inspired me seeing the Mage from King Arthur 2017, and this structure would be a benefit for the game for many ways, but this would definitely be one of them. So here's what I would do. So you have Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Just keep that, okay? You have Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And it is an old school business model, right? Right now you have PHB, Dungeon Master Guide, the Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master Guide, Monster Manual. and you have some source books, right? So one, I think immediately the entire tabletop role-playing game industry overall should just take every source book and never print another one of them, because they make the game worse. Okay, I've spoken on that before. I'm just going to leave that there. All right. So one, you're going to core rule books only. Okay, and then for Dungeons and Dragons, right? You have Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. It's there. Everybody can play it. Okay. But now you can have Dungeons & Dragons Onyx, Dungeons & Dragons Sapphire, Dungeons & Dragons Emerald, Dungeons & Dragons Jade, Dungeons & Dragons Gold, Dungeons & Dragons Silver. Every single one is a self-contained core rulebook, okay? And it is 400 to 500 pages long, printed. Give yourself a price point anywhere from $60 to $100. I'll pay any of those prices for it, okay? And you know what? It could be $99.99, no problem. I'll pay it. And the reason why is any decent core rulebook for Dungeons and Dragons is going to give you 1,000 hours of play, easy. It can easily give you 1,000 hours of play. It's nothing for those guys. That's already proven. We've seen dozens of tables record that many hours of game play. It's absolutely doable, right? So, but then with Dungeons and Dragons Onyx, you give a fully custom. Magic. You give a fully custom magic system that can be, built from the ground up. And in addition to that, you give completely new races. And in addition to that, you change this mechanic or that mechanic. The idea that we should have one Dungeons and Dragons core rulebook is just, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea going forward. And so seeing what I saw today, I'm thinking, right away, we need a custom magic rule system under the Dungeons & Dragons flag, right? Now, I understand we have to wait until after the movies to do this, but that I really feel we should be, get rid of every source book, pull them out of the game completely, never print another Dungeons & Dragons source book. You don't need to. Unearthed Arcana is coming out every single week with options that were better than anything we ever got in a 3.5 source book for free, right? And that's great. That's the way it should be. And then, in addition to that, then give us all and give us a Dark Sun core rulebook, the entire book. It's not a source book. It's the Dark Sun world, one rulebook to play the entire world. Give us new rules for it, because it's in its own contained book, right? It's in its own contained core rulebook. And we can do this too because the technology allows us to do this. We can print books very quickly. We can slice them together. We can edit them together. Put an extra 50 or 150 pages in there just to contain the rule set. It's nothing. It's not a big deal. It's a technical minor problem. Okay, that's taken care of by a strong editor and a good layout person. So that's my take. I was highly inspired by the Mage and King Arthur 2017. It's one of the best things in the movie. It was extremely well done. Astrid Burgess Frisbee did a phenomenal job acting with the role. Really, really worth watching. Required viewing for all the Dungeon Masters out there. Check it out. Thank you.